Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Janice I love, also known as the First Lady Coach, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I equip seasoned pastors' wives to have the clarity, the confidence, and the courage to walk boldly into the destiny for which she was chosen by being perfectly who God created her to be. All right, so there are many resources out there that will tell you how you can get confidences. There are books, there are classes that you can take just to tell you how to build your confidence. And there's several ways that people may try to tell you how to build your confidence. So one of the ways that people will tell you to build your confidence is that if you don't have it, to go ahead and fake it till you make it. Hmm. Now, that sounds good and well. The only thing is that when you know you're faking it, that does something to your confidence in the first place. Anytime you have to fake something or not be yourself, then that causes problems for your confidence level. So stop trying to fake it till you make it, because again, that does nothing but make you feel like an imposter in the first place. Anybody tried that route and had any success with trying to fake it till you make it? All right. So, how many of you have tried some other things? I mean, there are lots of things that people have tried, and such as getting a makeover. Now, I've had some makeovers in my days, and it made me feel confident for about 5 minutes because I couldn't recreate it myself. I ended up spending a whole lot of money and then couldn't recreate that lovely look that somebody managed to give me all over again. You know how it is when you go to the hairdresser and they make your hair look all nice, and then the next morning you wake up, after you've slept all kinds of ways, and you can't recreate that hairstyle that you already paid so much money for. Doesn't help with that confidence. Anyway, confidence, it doesn't come in a bottle. You can't buy it. You cannot take a pill and suddenly have confidence. Again, whether that's medication or trying to drink your way into confidence. Confidence does not come in a bottle. It does not come also from posting those fabulous pictures that you do on social media, those ones that we doctor up a little bit, or we try to find our best ones. That doesn't give us any confidence, because again, we say, oh, I had to fix it up, or I wasn't going to put this picture out because I don't want people to see how I really am. So again, we cannot get it by posting pictures on social media and then getting lots of likes and people telling us how great we look. And they don't, a lot of times people are just so nice. They don't care how we look. They will say, oh, you look great, or I love this, or whatever, right? Then some people say if you hang around with somebody who is confident, then you would be able to increase your own confidence. I don't know about you, but hanging around somebody who is extra confident and trying to help some of it to rub off on you makes me feel some kind of way, because again, I'm suddenly feeling less than, right? Because I'm trying to hang around with somebody else who is more confident. So that doesn't work either. Then bragging about your accomplishments doesn't make you feel any more confident, because again, what you're going to find yourself doing is overdoing it, doing extra stuff, continuing to try to keep up with all these wonderful accomplishments just so you will feel confident. Anybody identify with any of these things? Have you tried to, this is the number one that I've struggled with over the years, is getting another degree. If I get another degree, that's going to make me feel confident. So now you know why I have almost 5 degrees, really 5 degrees, because sometimes we feel like if we have a little more knowledge, then we will be more confident. Again, there are several things that we possibly try to do, and things that people have suggested that we do in order to have more confidence. What have you all tried out there to try to make yourself feel more confident? Definitely put it out there. Don't be shy, okay? Because we have all done things. But The one thing that some people will do is say, stand up in front of the mirror and say affirmations every day about yourself, about how beautiful you are, how wonderful you are, how smart you are, how gifted you are. And then you will be able to walk away with confidence. I don't know about you, but that ends up making me, when I'm standing there looking in the mirror, I end up spending extra time trying to see what's wrong, right? Ooh, I got a hair growing here. I got this going on. So standing in front of the mirror with affirmations is nice. It's nice to put self post-it notes on the wall or on your mirror to tell you again how wonderful you are and how beautiful you are. But again, it leaves as soon as you leave the mirror. Okay. All right. So when we think about what it takes to have or to build that confidence that we so desperately need as pastors' wives, I want to share with you the one thing that I feel like, or I know for sure, is the most important thing that you can do to build your self confidence. When we look at the Bible, and it talks about us being fearfully and wonderfully made in Psalms 139. It talks about the fact that we are wonderfully complex. And if you know anything about yourself, you know that we are complex. God designed us to be complex just so that we wouldn't be like anybody else. But what I love is Psalms 139 and 14, and I'm reading this from the NLT version, the New Living Translation, and it simply says, "Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it." So, again, we are talking tonight again about, remember what we're talking about tonight? We're talking about the most important thing a pastor's wife can do to build her self confidence. So, are you ready for the answer? Are you ready for the answer? The one thing that you can do to build your self confidence is, drum roll, know thyself. Know thyself, know yourself, know yourself as God created you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this. Again, when we think about the fact that God made us so wonderfully complex, and we talk about knowing ourselves, sure, there are some things we know about ourselves. For instance, we know what our favorite colors are, we know what our favorite foods are, we know a little bit perhaps about our personality. If you have taken any psychological inventories or enneagrams or any of those kinds of things, they will tell you lots of things about yourself. For instance, being in the psychology field, in counseling and in therapy and all those kinds of things, I have taken numerous assessments to try to tell me who I am. So, things I have learned about myself over the years is that I have an aptitude for training, meaning I love teaching other people. Obviously, that's what I'm doing out here right now, right? I also I have a strong thirst for knowledge, which explains also why I have so many degrees, is because I'm always wanting to learn more. If you will follow me around, you will see me just trying to learn something because I have a strong thirst for knowledge. That's something I actually learned in an aptitude test. And then also the fact that I love researching and studying, it also explains perhaps why I majored in biological psychology when I got to graduate school. But to really, really know and build upon your self confidence, the way you have to know yourself is how God created you. So when I'm working with my clients, whether they are in my group coaching program or working with me one-on-one in therapy or in coaching, one of the very first things I do is I help them to do what I call build their personal power portfolio. Now, the personal power portfolio, a lot of P words, huh? The personal power portfolio is a configuration of who God made you to be. So the very thing it starts off with is what I call your God ID. Now, your God ID is just what it says in Psalms 139, that God created, he created you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And this is an assessment that I do that I am trained in and that I am also licensed to give, where it clearly tells you who God created you to be. So let's talk a little bit about your God ID, as I call it. So when you think about it, we are born with a unique set of temperaments, right? God placed some things in us and he deliberately made us this way. These things are not by accident. They are the things that God put in us because he knew the life that we were going to live, and he knew what your role was going to be as a pastor's wife, or as a wife, or as a mother. He already knew the things that you were going to do in your life and the experiences that you have. So when we think about the our temperament, these are inborn traits again that God put in us. So when I began to learn more about myself, the way God created me, there were several things that I learned about myself as I began to know myself that could have saved me a whole lot of trouble and could have helped me to be a whole lot more confident about things. For instance, one thing that I learned when I found my God ID is that I am a thinker, that I think a great deal, that I won't stop thinking. So sometimes when people may think something's going on, or I'm being bougie or something like that, I am simply thinking. And people have said to me, well, I thought you were, I said something, but you look like you were in deep thought. And I started feeling some kind of way about myself. Well, people must think that I don't care or whatever. But so many times I'm in deep thought. And what I learned is that God created me that way, that I constantly am thinking. So again, when I can explain this to somebody, that keeps me out of a whole lot of trouble, especially when it comes to my husband, right? Especially if I'm not listening, right? And I need to explain, oh babe, I'm sorry, my mind was somewhere else. And it also taught me, what I learned about myself is that I am very strong minded, okay, which some people might even call stubborn. Anybody ever called you strong minded or stubborn? Guess what? God made you that way. And so rather than me feeling some kind of way about it being something wrong with me, then knowing that about myself, that God placed that in me, changes the whole picture. Now for you, there might be things you do not know about yourself that may be causing you challenges in your life, or maybe having you to have a lack of self esteem or struggling with your confidence because simply you do not know these things about yourself. So, for one more thing, and this is one thing that has been a challenge for me throughout my entire life, is that I know, based on who God created me to be, that I am, remember that strong minded, I am extremely independent and I don't like to be controlled by anyone. So it's no wonder that I struggled in my first marriage, because I did not like anyone to control me. And we know that in our environment, especially with it being more of a patriarchal environment, that women sometimes do not have a voice, and they often do not speak up because we often get judged for being some kind of way if we have a voice, right? So imagine me, God creating me to be stubborn minded, and then somebody telling me what I couldn't do. Again, if I had known these things about me, I would not have seen myself as what I would call defiant, right? It's just that I am strong willed. All right, hubby, you listening to that? All right. Anyway, the thing I want to say is, again, when we know who we are, the other things that I do when we do that God ID to help you to get your personal power portfolio, is that we also take a look at the things that have happened to you in your lifetime. There are things that have happened to us in our lifetime, which I call purpose identifying events, that guide who we are. Things that may have happened to you, trauma that may have happened to you, or even just the things that you accomplished over the years, or the things that have happened maybe in your family's history, that we often go through so we can clearly see all the things that come into bringing into your values, your interests, what gives you strength, what drains you, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. We take a look at all those things so you can clearly, beyond the shadow of a doubt, know who you are. Now, there have been studies out there that have mentioned that we often don't know who we are. In fact, if we ask some of our coworkers or our family members to describe us, sometimes they can describe us better than we can describe ourselves because we simply do not know who we are. And when we don't know ourselves and when we don't know who we are, then there is no way we can have the confidence that we need in order to walk boldly into that destiny for which we have been chosen by being perfectly who God created us to be. So again, I just want to let you know that the most important thing that you can do to build your confidence, first lady, pastor's wife, wife of influencers, or woman in general, is the first thing you need to do is to know yourself. And again, that is part of the very first thing I do in my chosen framework as I help women to have the life that they've always wanted to have, to be able to emerge from those shadows, to be able to walk beside their husband, and to be able to stand on their own platform. So visit my website so you can know all about what it means to be chosen. And that is JaniceRLove.com. So again, the very one thing that can help you to build that self-confidence is to know yourself. So what are you waiting for? It's time to get to know yourself. And again, if you don't know anything about me, check me out at my website at JaniceRLove.com. Now, coming soon is a confidence assessment, a confidence quiz, I would say. I don't like to say assessment, but we're going to give you a confidence quiz. So stay tuned for that so that you will be able to take a look at your own confidence. All right. How's that? Wonderful, wonderful. So what is going on? Again, let me say what we've been talking about all night, just in case you just came in. We have been talking about the most important thing a pastor's wife can do to build confidence.